We are 4 miles northwest of Hamburg, making an ASR approach to runway 16. In this presentation, all headings will be magnetic, all distances in nautical miles, and all elevation is feet above sea level. The minimum safe altitude within 20 and 40 miles is 3,000 feet. The airport elevation is 53 feet. The haze condition seen during these approaches is typical of western Germany during the summer months, often greatly restricting the visibility. No significant obstructions or noise abatement problems on this approach. Runway 16 has high-intensity approach lights with sequence flashers, high-intensity runway lights plus a VASI system. There is also centerline lighting. This bituminous runway is 10,565 feet long and 151 feet wide, with 1,460 feet of usable overrun. All other overruns at Hamburg are grass surface. This runway has a 0.2% down gradient. The missed approach procedures to pull up and climb is directed by the radar controller. The city of Hamburg is immediately ahead. We are northeast of the airport, making an ILS approach to runway 23. Caution note, this airport is located just north of the city with a heavily populated area immediately to the south, so strict adherence to noise abatement procedure is therefore mandatory. The highest obstruction on this approach is a tower 2 miles from the threshold, slightly to the right, 196 feet in elevation. Generally flat terrain surrounding the airport. Runway 23 has high-intensity approach and runway lights with sequence flashers and centerline lights. It also has visual approach slope indicator and RVR. The control tower and terminal area to the left. The runway gradient is 0.1% down. Runway 23 is 10,662 feet long and 151 feet wide with concrete surface. The missed approach procedures to pull up on the southwest course of the ILS are 233 degrees to 1,000 feet. Then turn right, climbing on 360 degrees to 3,000 feet. Then turning right, proceed to Hamburg VOR. We have just crossed the Elbe River on a northeast heading for a VOR backcourse localizer approach to runway 5. Caution note, the VOR is unusable within sector 320 degrees to 030 degrees. Runway 05 has high-intensity approach and runway lights with sequence flashers, centerline lights and a VASI system and RVR. When past the outer marker west, do not descend below the visual glide slope on a VFR approach, since there are many low obstructions on or close to the approach path, the highest of which is at 266 foot in elevation. Another with an elevation of 264 feet is located 1 1/4 miles from the threshold on centerline. This runway is marked with threshold, conventional centerline, and 1,000 foot distance markings. The entire length of 10,662 feet is available for landing. The missed approach procedure is to pull up on 053 degrees to 3,000 feet, then turn left, proceeding to Hamburg VOR. We are now south of the airport over the city, making a VFR approach to runway 34. There are buildings up to 300 feet in height within 1 mile of the approach end of this runway. The highest obstruction within 10 miles of the airport is a tower directly behind us with an elevation of 983 feet. Caution note, there are large flocks of birds in the immediate vicinity of the airport. Runway 34 has high-intensity approach and runway lights with sequence flashers. It also has a centerline lights and a VASI system. Runway 34 is 10,565 feet long and 151 feet wide with a gradient of 0.2% up. Note the 1,460 foot overrun at this end. Landing on this runway is only authorized when excessive crosswinds exist on runways 5/23. Caution note, there are several other airports in the vicinity of Hamburg with much small aircraft and glider activity in the area. So in operating VFR, existing nav aids must be utilized to ensure landing at the destination airport and on the correct runway. No problem on this climb out, generally flat terrain. We are now on a short final approach for landing on runway 23. Smoke pollution from the city frequently contributes to low visibility, as can be seen on these approaches. As previously stated, runway 23 has high-intensity approach and runway lights, sequence flashers and centerline lights. It also has visual approach slope indicators and RVR. Now making a left turn to taxi the terminal and parking area. All taxiways are usable for jets and lighted at night. These taxiway lights are elevated 14 inches and the runway lights 22 inches. The International Departure and Arrival Terminal and Control Tower directly ahead and to the right. Main parking area to the right. Additional briefing on pertinent items will be given at the conclusion of this film when required.